The Great Pyramid of Giza is not just a monument. It is an enigma carved in stone. Standing for more than 4,500 years, it rises from the desert like a silent riddle, challenging every generation to explain how it was built. Nearly 2.6 million blocks of stone were placed together with such astonishing precision that modern engineers still shake their heads. Some of these stones weigh between 2 and 15 tons, and the most impressive granite beams inside the king's chamber reach nearly 70 tons each. The original height of the pyramid was 149.4 meters, making it the tallest human-made structure on Earth for over 3,800 years. And all of this was achieved without cranes, without iron tools, without engines, without modern steel, and without concrete. Imagine trying to build such a structure today with no advanced machines. Even with modern technology, the logistics would be staggering. Yet somehow, the builders of ancient Egypt managed to not only construct it, but to do so with extraordinary precision. The joints between the limestone casing stones were so tight that you could barely slip a razor blade between them. They achieved this on millions of blocks, stacked to an almost impossible height. Mainstream explanations often suggest ramps made of mud brick or packed earth, and teams of workers dragging stones with ropes and sledges. But when you study the numbers, the theory quickly collapses. To drag a 70-ton block of granite across sand would require hundreds of men. The wood rollers would shatter under the immense weight. The ramps themselves would need to be longer than the pyramid is tall, stretching for miles, and would require more material than the pyramid itself. Building such ramps and then dismantling them would be a greater project than the pyramid. No traces of such mega ramps exist on the Giza Plateau. So the question lingers, how did they do it? The king's chamber inside the pyramid presents one of the most mind-bending challenges. Its ceiling is made of massive granite beams, each weighing around 60 to 70 tons, transported from Aswan, nearly 800 kilometers away. How are they shipped down the Nile? How are they dragged across the desert? And above all, how are they lifted to a height of 43 meters and placed with such accuracy inside the structure? This single problem exposes the weakness of conventional explanations. Even today, placing such blocks at that height would require specialized cranes and weeks of preparation. Yet the ancient builders placed them more than 4,000 years ago with apparent ease. Some researchers propose alternative theories. Perhaps there was a kind of lost technology, a secret knowledge about physics or materials. Some speculate about the possibility of acoustic levitation, the use of sound to manipulate weight. Others propose the radical idea of anti-gravity, suggesting the ancient builders knew how to temporarily reduce the weight of stone. While such theories remain speculative and often dismissed by mainstream Egyptology, they arise because traditional explanations fail to provide convincing solutions. Beyond the physical challenge of lifting the stones, there is the question of time. The reign of Pharaoh Khufu, to whom the pyramid is attributed, lasted about 23 years. If the pyramid was built in that time, it means more than 100 blocks had to be quarried, transported, and set in place every single day, including the massive granite beams. That rate of construction seems nearly impossible, even with tens of thousands of workers. The logistics would demand an almost industrial level of organization, precision, and efficiency. The deeper you examine the pyramid, the more impossible it seems. It is not just a pile of stones. It is an architectural puzzle. Its base covers 13 acres, and each side of the pyramid is oriented with incredible accuracy to the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, deviating by less than a fraction of a degree. The builders achieved this alignment without compasses, without satellites, without modern surveying equipment. How? By observing the stars. The pyramid's sides align with the North Star and other celestial bodies. This means the builders had not only engineering skill, but also advanced knowledge of astronomy. The stones themselves raise more questions. The limestone blocks came from nearby quarries, but the granite of the king's chamber was brought from Aswan. Some casing stones were polished so finely that they gleamed like mirrors in the sun, giving the pyramid a radiant glow visible from miles away. Ancient historians describe the pyramid as a dazzling white mountain of stone, with a golden capstone that reflected sunlight so brightly it could be seen across the desert. Today, the casing stones are gone, stripped over centuries for other construction, but the core remains, an eternal witness to ancient genius. What is most astonishing is the precision of measurement. The pyramid's base measures 230.4 meters on each side. The difference between the longest and shortest side is less than 20 centimeters. Over such a vast structure, this accuracy is breathtaking. The slope angle of the pyramid encodes mathematical constants. If you take the perimeter of the base and divide it by twice the height, you get a number very close to pi, 3.14159. Was this intentional or a coincidence? If intentional, it means the builders understood advanced mathematics thousands of years before it was supposedly discovered. And then there is the connection to Earth itself. The original height of 149.4 meters corresponds remarkably to the average distance between the Earth and the Sun, 149.4 million kilometers. The pyramid also seems to encode proportions related to the Earth's dimensions, its equatorial circumference, and its polar radius. Could this be accidental? Or did the builders have knowledge of our planet on a scale we only rediscovered in modern times? The Great Pyramid is also located at a unique point on Earth's geography. If you draw lines of latitude and longitude, the pyramid sits almost at the geographic center of all the land masses on Earth. No other place on the planet has this property. Was this an extraordinary coincidence, or did the builders choose the site deliberately, knowing its significance? Every angle, every stone, every ratio seems to whisper secrets. The more you study, the less it looks like a mere royal tomb. Egyptologists call it a funerary monument built for Pharaoh Khufu. But no mummies were ever found inside. The sarcophagus in the king's chamber is empty, uninscribed, rough, and unlike the decorated coffins of other Egyptian tombs. There are no hieroglyphs inside the pyramid, no carvings, no decorations. It stands silent, unlike any other Egyptian structure. If it was just a tomb, why invest such impossible effort, such cosmic precision, into its construction? Some argue it was not a tomb at all, but a kind of temple of knowledge, a monument encoding mathematics, astronomy, and geometry. Others suggest it was a machine of sorts, perhaps to harness energy from the Earth or the cosmos. There are theories of it being an initiation chamber for priests, a gateway to the stars, even a transmitter of power. While such ideas are speculative, they arise because the traditional narrative that it was simply a tomb feels inadequate. When you stand before the pyramid, its immensity overwhelms you. Each block is taller than a man. The base stretches out like a stone desert. The summit rises into the sky, broken but still majestic. Tourists today climb its steps, but for the ancients, this was a sacred mountain. The effort to build it, the knowledge encoded within it, and the mysteries it conceals make it one of the greatest puzzles in human history. And this is only the beginning. The deeper we go, the more the pyramid reveals. Its inner passages, chambers, and shafts point to the stars. Its measurements hide constants of nature. Its stones tell of impossible labor, and its silence echoes with unanswered questions. If the Great Pyramid is a riddle of construction, then the logistics of transporting the stones is the heart of the mystery. Every stone tells a story, not just of quarrying, but of movement, an odyssey across land and water, through deserts and along the mighty Nile. To understand the miracle of building the pyramid, we must trace the path of each block from its birthplace to its final resting place in Khufu's eternal monument. The quarries of origin. Most of the limestone used for the pyramid's core came from nearby quarries on the Giza Plateau. These quarries still exist today, carved depressions in the desert, silent witnesses to the labor of thousands. But the core limestone is only part of the story. The fine white limestone casing stones, those that once made the pyramid shine like a beacon in the desert, were brought from Tura, across the Nile. Even more astonishing are the granite blocks, especially those used in the king's chamber and relieving chambers above it. These immense monoliths were quarried in Aswan, nearly 800 kilometers to the south. Each block could weigh between 40 and 70 tons. The logistical challenge of moving such stones in antiquity is staggering. Imagine standing in Aswan, looking at a massive granite block freshly cut from the quarry. The question isn't just how to lift it onto a boat, it's how to even budge it from its quarry bed. Ancient workers used dolerite pounders, heavy stones harder than granite, to chip and shape the block. You can still see the quarry marks today, especially in the famous unfinished obelisk, which lies cracked in the quarry floor. It shows the scale of ambition and the immensity of the task. Moving mountains, the Nile journey. Once quarried, these colossal stones had to travel north. The Nile was the highway of ancient Egypt, and without it, the pyramid could never have been built. But transporting 70-ton blocks on a river is no simple feat. The Egyptians built large wooden barges, reinforced and wide enough to carry the weight. Wall paintings and archaeological finds confirm the use of such boats. The voyage from Aswan to Giza would take weeks, even months, depending on the current, wind, and season. The Nile flowed northward, which made downstream travel easier. But maneuvering a heavy-laden barge, ensuring it did not capsize or sink, required remarkable skill. The blocks had to be secured, balanced, and carefully guided through the river's bends. Modern engineers debate whether such boats could truly carry stones of that size. Some suggest the blocks were cut smaller and assembled like a puzzle on site. Others believe the Egyptians possessed more advanced shipbuilding techniques than we give them credit for. There are accounts from Herodotus and depictions on temple walls showing enormous vessels. Whether by genius or brute force, the journey was made because the granite stands today inside the pyramid. From river to plateau, the stones arrived on the west bank of the Nile, near Giza. But this was only the beginning. They had to be hauled from the riverbank, across the desert, and up onto the plateau. How? One theory is that the Egyptians waited for the annual Nile flood. During the inundation, canals could have been dug to bring barges closer to the construction site. Archaeological evidence supports this. Traces of ancient canals have been found near Giza. Imagine barges floating almost to the foot of the pyramid site, minimizing the land journey. Still, hauling 70-ton blocks across even a short stretch of sand seems impossible. Experiments show that dragging sledges across dry sand is nearly futile. The friction is too great. But there is an ancient Egyptian tomb painting showing workers pouring water on the sand in front of sledges. Recent studies confirm that wetting the sand reduces friction by up to 50%. This small but ingenious trick could have been a key to moving the stones. The ramp theories. Even if the blocks reach the plateau, another question looms. How were they raised to the pyramid's height? Mainstream Egyptology points to ramps, but the debate over their design is fierce. Straight ramp theory. A massive straight ramp leading up one face of the pyramid. This would need to be over a mile long to achieve a gentle enough slope, requiring more material than the pyramid itself. No such remains have been found. Spiral ramp theory. A ramp winding around the pyramid's exterior. This would allow gradual lifting, but it would block the builder's view of the edges, making precision impossible. Internal ramp theory. Proposed by architect Jean-Pierre Houdin, this suggests a spiral ramp inside the pyramid's core. According to this theory, the ramps were enclosed within the pyramid itself, explaining why no external ramp remains were found. Computer simulations show this could have worked, and some internal anomalies detected by scanning technologies may support it. Each theory has merits and flaws, but none fully explains how 70-ton granite beams were lifted 43 meters high and slotted with millimeter precision. Organization of labor. Beyond physical mechanics, the logistics of labor are astonishing. Herodotus wrote of 100,000 men building the pyramid in shifts. Modern estimates suggest perhaps 20,000 to 30,000 skilled workers, not slaves, but farmers working during the Nile's flood season when their fields were submerged. Excavations of workers' villages near Giza show they were well-fed, housed, and organized. This labor force required a supply chain of food, tools, and materials. Feeding thousands of workers meant slaughtering cattle, baking bread, brewing beer, and transporting provisions daily. The pyramid was not just an engineering project, but an industrial enterprise. The sheer organization reveals a highly centralized state capable of planning on a scale unrivaled in the ancient world. Alternative theories of transport. Because conventional explanations seem inadequate, alternative ideas have flourished. Water shaft theory. Some researchers propose that the Egyptians built water-filled canals or shafts and floated the blocks upward using buoyancy. Counterweight systems. Others suggest complex pulley and counterweight mechanisms, though no physical evidence survives. Lost technology. Fringe theories imagine forgotten machines, sonic levitation, or even extraterrestrial assistance. While speculative, they reflect the enduring sense that the puzzle is not fully solved. Why the logistics matter. The story of transport is not just about moving stones. It's about human ambition and ingenuity. Each block's journey is a metaphor for the civilization itself. Organized, determined, and endlessly creative. To drag a stone is to defy nature. To lift it is to challenge gravity. To set it in place with perfection is to leave a legacy for eternity. The logistics of the pyramid are the story of humanity's will to create something greater than itself. And yet, even after exploring all these possibilities, the central question remains unanswered. How exactly did they do it? Was it sweat and muscle, clever tricks with sand and water, hidden ramps within stone? Or was there something we have not yet rediscovered? A chapter of human knowledge lost to time? The pyramid stones do not answer. They only stand silent, stacked into eternity, challenging us to match the genius of those who came before. When you step inside the Great Pyramid, the outside grandeur suddenly transforms into something entirely different. From the blazing sunlight of the desert, you enter cool darkness. The air feels heavy, ancient, almost electric, as if the stones themselves hold memory. Unlike other Egyptian tombs filled with colorful hieroglyphs, statues, and treasures, the Great Pyramid is silent. Its walls are bare. Its corridors are narrow. It offers no inscriptions, no paintings, no direct explanation. It is a riddle made of stone, the mysterious layout. The pyramid has three main chambers: the so-called King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and the unfinished subterranean chamber. Each of them carries unanswered questions. The subterranean chamber lies cut into the bedrock beneath the pyramid. It is rough, unfinished, and oddly shaped. Some believe it was abandoned during construction. Others suggest it was never meant to be a burial chamber, but part of a deeper function, perhaps symbolic of the underworld. It sits in complete darkness, accessible only through a long descending passage. The Queen's Chamber lies higher inside, but curiously, no queen was ever buried there. Its ceiling forms a pointed arch, unusual for its time, and two mysterious shafts extend from it, angled upward. These shafts are too small for a human crawl through. For centuries, no one knew where they led. In 1993, a robotic camera was sent inside one of them and discovered a small door with copper fittings, like a sealed gateway. Beyond it, another chamber was found, and another door beyond that. What lies further is still debated. Why were these tiny shafts built? Were they air vents? Symbolic passageways for the soul? Or something far more technical? The King's Chamber is the heart of the pyramid. Built entirely of massive granite blocks, its walls are smooth, its ceiling supported by colossal beams weighing up to 70 tons each. At its center lies a rectangular granite box, often called a sarcophagus. But unlike other Egyptian sarcophagi, it has no inscriptions, no carvings, no lid. It looks less like a coffin and more like a container, perhaps designed for some other function. The room resonates like no other. When sound is made inside, the granite vibrates, amplifying frequencies. Some researchers believe this was intentional, that the chamber was designed as an acoustic device, a resonator, possibly linked to rituals or energy. The shafts and the stars. One of the most intriguing features of the pyramid are its narrow shafts. From both the king's chamber and the queen's chamber, small tunnels extend outward at angles. They do not align with ventilation needs. Instead, they point directly at specific stars. From the king's chamber, one shaft points toward Orion's belt, associated with Osiris, the god of resurrection. Another points towards Sirius, linked to the goddess Isis. From the queen's chamber, one shaft points toward the star Thuban in the constellation Draco, which was the North Star at the time of construction. Another points toward Orion as well. This alignment suggests deliberate design. The pyramid seems to be a bridge between Earth and the stars, a cosmic machine intended to connect the soul of the pharaoh, or perhaps humanity itself, with the heavens. The Grand Gallery. Leading up to the king's chamber is the Grand Gallery, one of the most astonishing corridors in ancient architecture. It rises nearly 9 meters high and stretches for 46 meters, with walls that slope inward as they rise, creating a breathtaking vaulted passage. The precision of its construction is astonishing. But what was its purpose? Some suggest it functioned as a ceremonial walkway, leading the pharaoh's spirit upward. Others propose it was part of a mechanical system, perhaps housing counterweights used to lift stones or even operating as part of an energy device. The grooves cut into its walls suggest something once fitted into place, like tracks or slots. Yet no definitive answer exists. Resonance and energy theories. Modern researchers have noticed something strange. The king's chamber resonates at specific frequencies. When sound is produced, whether by voice, chant, or instrument, the granite amplifies and hums. This is not accidental. Granite contains quartz, which is piezoelectric, meaning it can generate electricity when pressure or vibration is applied. Could it be that the builders understood this property? Some propose the pyramid acted as a giant resonator, collecting energy from the earth and converting it into something else. The shafts, chambers, and passageways may have been tuned like parts of a massive instrument. The alignment with stars may have connected cosmic cycles with terrestrial vibrations. While mainstream scholars dismiss these ideas as speculation, the evidence of resonance is undeniable. The question remains, resonance for what? Ritual? Communication? Energy? Hidden doors and secret rooms? The mystery deepens with modern exploration. In 2017, scientists using muon radiography, an advanced scanning technique, discovered a huge hidden void above the Grand Gallery. This space, at least 30 meters long, had never been detected before. No one knows its purpose. Is it a relieving chamber designed to reduce pressure? Or is it another hidden room deliberately concealed? The discovery proves that even after thousands of years, the pyramid still holds secrets, symbolism, and spiritual meaning. If the pyramid is not just a tomb, then what is it? Many scholars believe it served as a symbolic map of the universe. The ascending passage may represent the path of the soul. The king's chamber could symbolize rebirth, its resonant vibrations aiding the journey. The shafts pointing to stars may have guided the soul to the heavens. Others go further, suggesting the pyramid was a stargate, a place where rituals opened portals between worlds. Ancient texts speak of the pharaoh becoming a star in the afterlife, ascending to join the gods. The pyramid may have been built as a machine for that transformation. Mathematical and cosmic codes inside. Measurements inside the pyramid reveal further mysteries. The dimensions of the king's chamber relate to pi and the golden ratio. The length of passages seems to encode astronomical cycles, like the precession of the equinoxes. Some argue the pyramid is a stone library, preserving cosmic knowledge in mathematical form. A silence that speaks. Walking through the pyramid today, tourists often feel all mixed with unease. The silence is heavy, broken only by footsteps echoing off granite walls. Guides point to the so-called sarcophagus and remind visitors, no mummy, no treasures, no inscriptions were ever found. The Great Pyramid refuses to explain itself. Yet perhaps that is its greatest secret. It was not meant to be explained in words or pictures. It was built to be experienced, to be felt. Its stones hum with mystery, its passages align with the cosmos, and its chambers vibrate with power. Whether a tomb, a temple, a machine, or something beyond our comprehension, the Great Pyramid remains one of the greatest unsolved enigmas in human history. When mainstream explanations fall short, imagination rushes in to fill the void. The Great Pyramid of Giza has inspired not only archaeologists and engineers, but also dreamers, mystics, and conspiracy theorists. Its sheer size, impossible precision, and mysterious silence have made it fertile ground for alternative theories. Some may sound outrageous, but they endure because, after thousands of years, the pyramid still refuses to fully reveal its secrets. The energy machine hypothesis. One of the most compelling alternative ideas is that the Great Pyramid was not merely a tomb or temple, but a machine, an ancient power plant designed to generate energy. The pyramid's layout has peculiar features that fuel this theory. The Grand Gallery, with its soaring, corbelled ceiling, resembles not just a passageway, but a resonating chamber. Its angled walls and polished limestone may have been designed to amplify vibrations. The subterranean chamber, cut deep into the bedrock, looks more like a pressure chamber than a burial place. Some researchers argue that water from the Nile once flowed into these chambers, creating pressure waves. Combined with vibrations from the earth itself, the pyramid could have acted like a giant resonator, producing sound or even energy. Supporters of this theory point to the quartz content in granite. Quartz has piezoelectric properties, meaning it can generate electricity when subjected to pressure or vibration. The king's chamber, made entirely of granite, could have been a power source, converting vibrations into usable energy. The pyramid's original casing of white limestone, polished to mirror-like perfection, could have acted as an insulator or even as a conductor, transmitting energy outward. Is this science fiction? Perhaps. But it's intriguing to imagine the Great Pyramid not as a tomb, but as a monumental energy device, humming with power thousands of years ago. Could it have lit temples, powered unknown devices, or transmitted energy wirelessly across the land? Some even suggest it was designed to connect Earth with cosmic energy fields, harnessing the planet itself as a generator. Vibrations, sound, and resonance. There is no doubt that the pyramid has acoustic mysteries. When you stand in the king's chamber and chant, the sound resonates in deep, powerful tones. The chamber seems tuned to certain frequencies. Ancient visitors may have experienced this as a form of spiritual amplification, a way to connect with the divine through vibration. Modern scientists have measured these resonances and found unusual acoustic properties, unlike any other ancient structure. Was this deliberate? Did the builders understand the science of sound in ways we barely grasp? Could they have used resonance to move stones, as some speculate, levitating blocks with carefully tuned frequencies? While this remains unproven, the pyramid's acoustic properties continue to puzzle researchers. The alien intervention theory. No discussion of the pyramid's mysteries is complete without mentioning the most controversial theory, that extraterrestrials played a role. To many, this idea is absurd, but it remains popular, fueled by television shows, books, and endless speculation online. The argument is simple. The pyramid is too perfect, too massive, too precise to have been built by humans with primitive tools. The alignment to true north is astonishing. The encoding of pi, phi, and Earth dimensions seems beyond the knowledge of Bronze Age civilization. Therefore, some conclude the builders must have had help from beings with advanced technology. Proponents of this theory suggest that aliens either built the pyramid themselves or taught the Egyptians advanced knowledge. Ancient texts describing gods descending from the sky are reinterpreted as encounters with extraterrestrials. The pyramid, in this view, is not just a tomb or temple, but a marker, a beacon, or a base left by alien visitors. Critics dismiss this as an insult to human ingenuity. They argue that the ancient Egyptians were brilliant, organized, and capable, and that dismissing their achievements as alien handiwork underestimates their genius. Yet the alien theory endures, perhaps because it answers the pyramid's greatest riddle. How could humans of that time have done the impossible? Lost civilizations and forgotten technologies. Another theory avoids aliens, but still pushes the boundaries of history. It suggests that the pyramid was not built by the Egyptians of Khufu's time at all, but by an earlier, lost civilization, one that possessed advanced knowledge and technology that was later forgotten. According to this view, the pyramid may be far older than mainstream archaeology claims, perhaps dating back to a prehistoric epoch, even before the last ice age. Supporters point to weathering patterns on the Sphinx, which some geologists argue were caused by heavy rainfall thousands of years earlier than dynastic Egypt. If the Sphinx is older, could the pyramids be as well? Perhaps they were inherited by the Egyptians, who maintained and reused them, but did not originally construct them. This theory suggests that humanity may have once reached heights of knowledge, only to collapse into a dark age, with Egypt inheriting fragments of that lost wisdom. The pyramid, then, becomes a time capsule of a forgotten world, whispering of a civilization erased from memory. The pyramid as a stargate or spiritual device. Beyond energy and aliens, some propose that the pyramid served a spiritual, even cosmic purpose. Its shafts align with Orion's belt and Sirius, stars associated with Osiris and Isis, gods of death and rebirth. Perhaps the pyramid was not just a tomb, but a stargate, designed to launch the pharaoh's soul into the heavens. The empty sarcophagus in the king's chamber may have been less a coffin than a device for spiritual transformation, where vibration, light, and alignment with the stars combine to open a path to eternity. Mystics and esoteric traditions have long believed that the pyramid shape itself has power. Even today, experiments with pyramid-shaped structures claim to preserve food, sharpen blades, and enhance meditation. Could the Egyptians have known that the pyramid shape channels energy in ways modern science barely understands? Modern discoveries that add fuel to theories. In 2017, scientists using cosmic ray imaging discovered a massive void inside the Great Pyramid, above the Grand Gallery. Its purpose is unknown. Some say it was left empty to reduce stress on the structure, but others believe it could hide secrets, treasures, devices, or chambers yet undiscovered. The pyramid is still keeping its silence, still hiding things from us after millennia. Furthermore, recent measurements have revealed tiny electromagnetic anomalies around the pyramid. Lightning sometimes strikes it more frequently than surrounding areas, leading some to speculate that its shape interacts with Earth's natural fields. To believers in the energy theory, this is further proof that the pyramid was not just stone piled high, but a deliberate, functional design. Between mystery and reality. Are these theories true? There is no definitive proof. Archaeologists lean on evidence of workers' villages, tool marks, and inscriptions that link the pyramid to Khufu. Engineers insist that ramps and sledges, while difficult, were not impossible. Yet the alternative theories thrive because the pyramid continues to resist complete explanation. It sits on the desert plateau like a challenge to human reason, daring us to solve it. When we think of the Great Pyramid today, we usually imagine stone blocks, ramps, and construction mysteries. But to the ancient Egyptians, this monument was never just stone. It was a spiritual machine, a bridge between earth and heaven, a physical symbol of eternal life. Understanding its cultural and religious significance is as important as studying how it was built. The ancient Egyptian worldview was profoundly shaped by religion and cosmic order. They believed in Ma'at, a principle of balance, truth, and harmony that guided both the universe and human society. The pharaoh wasn't just a king. He was a divine figure, chosen by the gods to uphold this balance. In this context, the pyramid became more than a tomb. It was a cosmic ladder designed to help the pharaoh ascend to the stars and join the gods. The pyramid as a symbol of the sun. Egyptians worshipped Ra, the sun god, as the source of life and rebirth. The pyramid's shape, with its four triangular sides meeting at a single point, was no accident. It mirrored the sun's rays descending toward Earth. When sunlight hit the polished white limestone casing, the pyramid would have gleamed like a giant beacon. Imagine it, a dazzling mountain of light in the desert, reflecting the very rays of the sun. To the Egyptians, this was divine, an eternal connection between the pharaoh and Ra. Texts known as the Pyramid Texts, some of the oldest religious writings on Earth, carved inside later pyramids, make this clear. They describe the pharaoh's soul rising through the pyramid to the heavens, transforming into a star and sailing across the sky with Ra. The pyramid was literally a resurrection engine. Resurrection and eternal life. Egyptian religion was obsessed with eternity. Death was not the end, but a doorway. The mummification process preserved the body, while elaborate rituals ensured the soul's safe passage to the afterlife. The pyramid was central to this belief. Inside, the carefully placed chambers and shafts weren't random. They aligned with stars, guiding the soul's journey. The king's chamber symbolized rebirth, while the queen's chamber may have represented transformation. Even the descending passage, leading deep underground, echoed the symbolic death before rising again toward the light. For the Egyptians, the pyramid guaranteed that the pharaoh, their god-king, would live forever. And if the pharaoh achieved immortality, so too would Egypt itself. Influence on Egyptian society. Building the pyramid was not just about architecture, it was about nation building. Every worker, from quarrymen to farmers supplying food, felt part of a divine project. The construction united the country around a common goal, reinforcing the pharaoh's power and the belief in divine order. The pyramid stood as propaganda in stone, an everlasting reminder of the pharaoh's might and his link to the gods. Long after Khufu was gone, the pyramid still proclaimed his eternal presence. Cultural symbolism beyond Egypt. The influence of the pyramids did not die with the Old Kingdom. Later civilizations, from the Greeks to the Romans, looked at them with awe. Greek historians like Herodotus marveled at their scale, even if they misunderstood their purpose. In Roman times, Egypt became the empire's breadbasket, and pyramids were tourist attractions. The fascination didn't stop there. During the Renaissance, European scholars revived interest in Egyptian symbols, seeing the pyramid as a representation of wisdom and mystery. In modern times, the pyramid appears everywhere, from the US dollar bill to corporate logos, still carrying a sense of power, stability, and mystique. Spiritual interpretations through history. Mystics, philosophers, and esoteric traditions have long seen the Great Pyramid as more than a tomb. Medieval alchemists believed it hid secret knowledge. Enlightenment thinkers speculated about its mathematical perfection. New Age spirituality treats it as an energy center, a sacred geometry structure that resonates with cosmic frequencies. Whether or not these interpretations are historically accurate, they show how the pyramid's cultural impact transcends time. Every era reinvents the pyramid's meaning, layering new symbolism on top of the old. The pyramid and cosmic order. For ancient Egyptians, the pyramid wasn't only about the afterlife. It was about order in the universe. Its precise alignment with the cardinal points and stars reflected a belief in cosmic harmony. The pharaoh's journey mirrored the cycles of the sun, the flooding of the Nile, and the eternal rhythm of life and death. This is why the pyramid still captivates us today. It embodies something universal, the human desire to connect with the cosmos, to leave a mark that outlasts death, to touch eternity. The Great Pyramid of Giza is not just a mountain of stone frozen in time. It is a mirror, reflecting back to us the questions we most urgently ask about ourselves. How far can human ambition reach? What kind of knowledge did ancient civilizations truly possess? And what, ultimately, is our place in a universe that is both familiar and unfathomably strange? We've journeyed through the stone blocks, the hidden chambers, the astronomical alignments, the theories of lost civilizations, and the whispers of gods and stars. Now, standing at the end of this exploration, we must ask, what does it all mean? a monument that defies definition. For centuries, scholars tried to categorize the Great Pyramid neatly. To archaeologists, it was a tomb. To mathematicians, it was a code in stone. To mystics, it was a temple of initiation. To engineers, it was an impossible project that should not have existed in 2500 BCE. The truth? It may be all of these, and none of them. The pyramid refuses to fit into one box because it is bigger than any single interpretation. That is its genius. It stands like a riddle, carved into stone, daring every generation to solve it, but always leaving something unsaid. The sheer size still boggles the mind. 2.6 million blocks, each averaging 2.5 tons, rising into the sky with a precision of less than a fraction of a degree off true north. Even with modern technology, replicating such a project would be a nightmare. And yet, this was done in an age without iron tools, cranes, or wheels. How? That question alone keeps the pyramid alive as the ultimate symbol of human, or perhaps superhuman, possibility. Science meets the sacred. When you strip away the dust and myths, you are left with an undeniable fact. Whoever built the pyramid had a knowledge that straddled two worlds. On one hand, there is the rational mastery of stone, weight, leverage, and logistics. On the other, there is an almost poetic sensitivity to the heavens, numbers, and the rhythm of life and death. The alignment with Orion's belt and Sirius wasn't just practical, it was symbolic. The Egyptians believed the pharaoh's soul would rise to the stars. The shafts pointing to Thuban, the ancient North Star, served not only as air vents but as celestial pathways. Geometry wasn't just math, it was theology carved in rock. In the West, we often separate science from spirituality. The pyramid shows us a world where they were one and the same. Knowledge wasn't divided into religion and engineering. It was one great song, a cosmic harmony where moving a stone was as sacred as a prayer, a living puzzle. Modern technology keeps uncovering new layers of mystery. In 2017, muon scans revealed a vast hidden void above the Grand Gallery, an empty space larger than a jet plane, untouched for 4,500 years. What's inside it? We don't know. Some say it might hide lost treasures. Others think it was a structural necessity, a kind of weight relief. The fact remains, even today, the pyramid still holds secrets. It is not a solved mystery. It is a living one. This, perhaps, is the most powerful aspect of the pyramid. In an age where we think we know everything, where satellites can scan the Earth and AI can crunch infinite data, here is an object that resists total understanding. It reminds us that wonder is not dead, that mystery is not extinct. Legacy beyond Egypt. The Great Pyramid is not just an Egyptian treasure. It is a human treasure. It belongs to the world because it speaks to something universal in us all, the drive to reach higher, to leave a mark, to connect with forces beyond ourselves. The Greeks looked at it and thought of geometry and philosophy. The Romans saw it as endurance. Medieval alchemists thought it was a key to hidden powers. Napoleon, upon seeing it, supposedly said, "Soldiers from the top of these pyramids, 40 centuries looked down upon you." Today, travelers from every corner of the globe stand before it, phones in hand, trying to capture in pixels what the heart knows cannot be captured. The pyramid is not just a structure, it is a feeling, a presence, a reminder that we are small, yet capable of greatness. The pyramid and the human spirit. In the end, whether you believe it was a tomb, a power plant, an observatory, or a message from lost gods, the Great Pyramid does something no other monument does. It makes us ask bigger questions. It makes us look up, literally and figuratively. It forces us to admit that there are things we do not yet understand, and maybe never will. And in that admission lies the spark of both humility and inspiration. It tells us that humans are not just builders of cities and machines. We are builders of meaning. And meaning, like stone, can outlast millennia. A mystery that chooses you. Maybe the Great Pyramid was never meant to be solved. Maybe it was meant to be lived with. Like a book you never finish, but one you keep returning to for fresh wisdom. Every century, new tools will scan it, new theories will be born, new debates will rage. Yet the pyramid will remain unchanged, unyielding, eternal. It does not give up its secrets easily, because its greatest secret might be that the search itself is the point. Closing. So here we are, standing on the plateau of Giza, with the sun sinking behind that perfect triangle of stone. Thousands of years, billions of questions, and still, the pyramid watches in silence. It does not need to explain itself. It only needs to be. And perhaps that is its final lesson, that the greatest wonders of the world are not meant to be explained away, but to remind us of what it means to wonder at all. Because long after our cities have crumbled, long after our technology is dust, long after we are gone, the Great Pyramid will still stand, and it will still whisper to whoever comes after. Look upon me. Dream bigger. Reach higher. Ask questions that matter. For this is what it means to be human. A monument that refuses to give away all its secrets, a puzzle carved in stone, standing tall for more than 4,500 years. Is it a tomb? A cosmic library? Or a message left for future generations? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere beyond what we can imagine. One thing is certain. The Great Pyramid is more than history. It's a timeless reminder of human ambition, mystery, and the eternal quest for knowledge. This was Secrets and Wonders, and the journey doesn't end here. If you want to keep exploring the mysteries of our world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for the next adventure. Until then, keep searching, keep questioning, and never stop wondering. Milky Way sparkles.